Welcome to my backyard garden update, number 18. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm doing it today, Sunday, because it's supposed to be, well, it's been real rainy and ugly the last several days. Real muddy down here, as you can see. And I actually had to put some tree bark out here just so I could walk. That's my sweet corn, which I've updated in a separate series. So anyway, get to do the update here. As you can see, the blight got to my red potatoes, and you know, they're just about 90 days. You can harvest them early at 90. I'm gonna wait maybe one more weekend until they completely die off. I'm not expecting any potatoes out of that. I think the oversaturation of the rain and the blight has probably produced me with 0 potatoes, but you know what? We'll do a live recovery on it and next week and see if anything happened. Likely nothing, and if it's an epic fail, I'll still post that I failed. Probably the wrong soil, probably the fact that I used store-bought potatoes that had sprouted, not true seed potatoes. And then, of course, I realized about 60 days in, you got to fertilize them. They're heavy. They need heavy fertilization, which I didn't really do until the last 30 days here. So probably nothing's going to happen on the red potatoes. But you know what? I will film my my failure or my minimal success anyway. And then the Texas russet, they're starting to have problems. And again, you know, it doesn't look like blight. It just looks like overwatering. I've drilled holes in the bottom of these containers to allow drainage, but it just seems like the dang rain is every day and it's constant and it's downpours and I just can't keep them dry. I probably needed to put them inside and let them dry out, but you know, you live and learn. I took the two mystery tomatoes out of there and I put them in their own bin here, so excited to see what they produce. It's kind of a small bin, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. It's a 3-gallon bin, and you know, whatever I get out of there, I get out of there. Again, the grape tomatoes in the container are doing good. That's a 10-gallon container, and you can see there's several grape tomatoes on there. I even have one back here that is starting to ripen. So the container bin's doing just fine. And on to the grape tomatoes that are in the middle planter box. Again, I spend 30 to 45 minutes every weekend, it seems, tying these off, but if you just take a look here, you can see that it might be kind of hard to tell with the camera, but there's just tomatoes everywhere on this thing. I mean, everywhere you look, there's just tons and tons and tons of tomatoes. So I'm real happy with the output here of tomatoes. And I mean, I'm just showing you all the sections here, and they're everywhere. The good news is I am definitely starting to get some ripening on these. We've got quite a few there, and some over there, and a few more over here. So looks like I'll have a pretty good harvest of tomatoes on this one pretty soon. And then my red on the vine tomatoes are actually doing really well as well. And I'm not going to give you a look at all the plants necessarily, but there are tons and tons and tons of tomatoes on these very prolific tomato producing plants. I'll be doing a harvest video tomorrow. We've got a couple to harvest here and a couple to harvest there, some down there, a few over here. We've got some back down there. We got one back in this corner over here to harvest, and then we got a few up here. And you know what? The dang windstorm keeps knocking down my scarecrow. He's getting shorter and shorter by the minute because the branch or the bamboo stick actually broke. So now he's just sitting off to the side. And you know what? I can't stop the birds. I'm looking for advice here, guys. As you can see, the birds keep chewing it. I've left this one on there just as a bird decoy, if you will. It's the easiest one to get to, so I'm just gonna have to throw that one out. But we've got several tomatoes to harvest. The red on the vine tomatoes are doing really well. That's my sugar snap peas and my Bush Lake green beans. Only 2 came up with the first batch. I've got a series on that as well, but I just wanted to give you a quick look. On to the peppers. So working hard to trim off all the peppers on this plant, this Fresno pepper. I've left one on there just for good luck. but I've been trimming those off constantly, trying to get this one to come back to life. He's got several new shoots, so hopefully he's coming back. The other Fresno pepper, he's got several big peppers on him, and it looks like they're starting to slightly turn red on a few of them, but there's just tons of peppers on this plant, probably too many. He's a little yellow, and I think it's because he's just using up so much nutrients on his peppers, and I would cut them off, but you know, I've been cutting off all the ones on that one, and I really like the taste of Fresno peppers when they turn red, so I'm just gonna leave those on there. The Serrano pepper is doing really good. We've got several Serrano peppers on there. Looks like we've got looks like about 6 on this side. We've got a couple in the middle there, and then several over here, another 3. So looks like about 10 Serrano peppers, and they're starting to get pretty big. They got a little ways to go, and then they turn red, and I like them red, so they're doing really good. My red Savina, I had harvested that one from my previous videos. It's got some buds on it. Looks like it's just starting to get buds again, which is a good thing. And there are no Serrano peppers on it yet. A few blossoms. I'm sorry, no red Savina peppers on it yet. A few blossoms, but we're getting there. Now my orange Scotch bonnet, on the other hand, finally started to go to fruit. We've got one down there, and I believe, where's my other one at? There's another one on here somewhere, and I can't find him right now. That's what I get for not memorizing my plants, I guess. But there are 2 on here, and anyway, we got 2 on there, so I'm really excited that I have 2 orange Scotch bonnets, and of course it does have flowers on it as well, so that's kind of cool. And it looks like I found, yeah, there it is, I found the other orange Scotch bonnet pepper. So finally got some. I hope that this week it was going to happen, and it looks like it did. I told you in previous videos, these orange Jawala finger peppers are just very prolific. Every single one of these pepper plants has just massive amounts of Jawala finger peppers. I mean, they're everywhere. I do have a red one back there to harvest, which I will in tomorrow's harvest video, but easy to grow. I mean, those plants, they just produce them so fast, and honestly, they're slightly yellow, this one is, and I think it's because I probably, if I've learned anything about peppers, more than anything, you really have to keep cutting them back when they're really young and in pots, or even in the ground, because they seem to want to, once they start producing peppers, it seems like they just keep producing them, and the longer you can delay producing peppers by topping them, trimming them, cutting off the buds, you get stronger, healthier plants. And I did not do that this year with my first year gardening. I'll learn that for next year. But now that they're producing, I'm just don't have the heart to keep cutting off peppers, so it is what it is. The Big Jim peppers, if you remember that small pepper back there, is now getting even bigger. It's, where's it at? Right there. It's real big. It's already 5 or 6 inches. And what's really cool is my New Mexico Big Jim peppers are now starting to turn red. And look at the size of these suckers. I'm gonna try to get down here with this one. I mean, that's a big pepper. So those will probably be harvested, if not tomorrow, sometime this Memorial Day weekend. I'm sorry, Memorial Day week. As far as the Tasmanian habaneros, you know, we've got 5 pretty good peppers on here. They're everywhere on this plant, as far as 5 of them, and I'm happy about that. So we're gonna keep waiting till those turn red. And then on the other Tasmanian habanero, lots of blossoms. A few have dropped some of the blossoms, and it looks like they've set some fruit, so should be getting a couple of sets of Tasmanian habaneros. On the chocolate habs, these plants have struggled. This plant gets wind. The wind comes right through here and hits this plant first, and it just knocks all the foliage off. Nothing's fruit set. It does have a few blossoms left, but the wind knocks them all off. They can't even set properly. But the ones back here, they do have some blossoms that seem to be shielded. So I'm hoping and I'm optimistic that they produce some chocolate habaneros. Still nothing yet on the chocolate habs. Doing pretty well on the Tasmanian habs. The big Jims, I got 3. I had harvested one that was green up when I had them inside. Obviously, they take a long time to ripen. It's been a week since they started turning red, and it just, these two, it seems like without the sun beating down on them, they don't do too well. Joala Finger's doing good. Looks like my orange Scotch bonnets are going to start producing. Red Savina's already produced one. Loved it. Very, very hot. Waiting for the next fruit sets. And then the Fresno peppers, struggling, doing well. And then the Serrano peppers are also doing well. Quick update on the sweet peppers. Got nice sweet pepper there and another sweet pepper over here. Got these 2 twin sweet peppers right here. None of the other plants have any sweet or bell peppers on them yet. Again, I don't know which ones are sweet and bell peppers yet. Obviously the ones that have peppers, I can tell they're sweet peppers, but the rest of them, I don't know if they're bell peppers. Pretty cool that my bell pepper plant, despite how small it is producing a pretty good sized bell pepper. So I'm really excited about that. That sucker grew a lot in the last week, and he's got 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th bell pepper that are started back there, which is cool. The jalapeno plant, you know, I peeled off those 5 jalapenos, and when I ate them, the purple jalapenos, they were not hot at all. They were not even mild. So I think I need to just let these mature a lot longer. I'm a rookie at purple jalapenos, and I know that they're supposed to have some heat, and the ones I harvested had no heat whatsoever. So I'm not sure how big these need to get or what they look like when they're ripe, because they're already purple. So I'm gonna let them sit there for as long as possible until the skin starts cracking like you normally see on a jalapeno plant. And then I'll peel one off and see if it's got some heat, because obviously I know by the taste they were very immature, no heat whatsoever. And the seeds were not very big, and there was a lot of flesh around the seeds, which usually indicates they're immature from what I've read or watched on YouTube. Rosemary's hanging in there. I harvested, as you can see, a bunch of the garlic clove chives, and they tasted great. It looks like they're back in full effect. Oregano's still green as can be, and thyme's doing well. We're down to our last 2 romaine lettuce heads. They keep getting snails and slugs in here, and they just keep dying. So we've got 2 left. We'll see what I can get out of those. They were very tasty when I made that salad. Chives, harvested those, gave it a nice haircut, and they were very flavorful as well. And if we go over here, I'll give you a last look at my basil. I cut these down last week, cut about 100 leaves off these, and they just took off again. These suckers love it out here. I've got so much basil, I don't even know what to do with all this basil. So, heck, if anyone wants basil, let me know. So, anyway, we have basil on pizza, we have basil in spaghetti, we have basil sandwiches. Basil, basil, basil. Last update here on the backyard update is the compost. I added a few cuttings today. It's really starting to take off here. I mean, I added some grass too. It seems like because of the rain, it stays too wet to really decompose the way it should. But like I said, I'm not in a hurry. So if it takes a long time, it takes a long time. And you know, I turn it all the time. I turn it every day. And I even used my pitchfork in there and really tossed it around. I added some red worms in there and a little bit of compost starter, just so that I can expedite it a little bit. Again, until it stops raining as much as it does and lets this sucker heat up and dry up just a little bit more, I think it's gonna take a lot longer than maybe I thought. Anyway, that's the backyard garden update for this week. Stay tuned for tomorrow's harvest video. I may cut off the big Jims, and I'll give you a measurement next to a tape measure on those when I do. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please comment, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, like the video if you do, or give me any comments or suggestions to make me a better gardener. Thanks again.